And this afternoon, he demanded a trade. Micah posting a long explanation on Twitter about his stalled negotiation that in his mind is now over, or maybe not. Maybe this is just part of it. I stayed quiet, but again, after repeated shots at myself and all the narratives, I have made a tough decision. I no longer want to play for the Dallas Cowboys. Ooh. My trade request has been submitted to Stephen Jones personally. Okay. Brew, your reaction to Micah's long post.
Bravo.
Oh.
Because the whole post was really, I mean, he went through, Coach, the past few years of last season, reaching out to Jerry, trying to renegotiate. Fine. Okay, you don't want to. I'm fine. He played through it last year. Obviously had the injury, but played. And then this year going to Jerry. And the reason I say bravo is because according to Micah, and this was the reporting from Diana Rossini earlier in the day before Micah released his statement, they feel like Jerry tried to negotiate with Micah by himself without his agent being present. And according to the reports in Micah, Jerry feels like he and Micah made a deal, without the agent, being involved. And then Micah said, my agent will reach out to you. And Jerry and Steven and Dallas has not gotten back to the agent other than Adam, who he mentioned, not Jerry or Stephen Jones. And so I just think that is incredibly underhanded. Like, if this is true, if you are trying to negotiate with a player who obviously doesn't know, even as he might be up to some degree on the rules and the salaries and things like that. That's why a player has an agent, because the agent knows the contracts, the rules, all the small,
the guarantee, all
of that. Like, there's no way a player, unless he wants to, like Lamar Jackson did. I just think that is incredibly underhanded if that's the case. And so I'm glad that Micah has put this on Front Street. Like now, you hear so many players that have gone through this with the Cowboys, particularly older retired guys, just praise Jerry. It always works out. He pays guys. He pays them more than sometimes they should have gotten and stuff like that. But I'm glad Micah put this out there because, Coach, I feel like Jerry has financial security. The players in many cases don't. Micah's trying to get it. This is his first huge contract. He's trying to get it, and he's trying to get it in a sport where any moment your season or career could end. That's the thing. Micah's he's earned it. He's not getting it. And while Jerry might think, I'm going to pay him in a month or we'll get it taken care of, if that's what he thinks, that's kind of how I feel about him. The players like on pins and needles.
Okay, listen, we're not really bringing the right intensity to this conversation right now. And I actually find it really frustrating. Even Brew saying it's underhanded. No, it's an absolute disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace and it's disgusting. I've actually had multiple agents before. Okay, so I feel very comfortable talking about this. Obviously, not negotiating deals for hundreds of millions of dollars. I wish, like I always joke, one day I hope I do that, and I'll let you guys know the process. I'll be very open and honest about it all. But agents are there to protect you. They are there. They are the one person who's in your corner who not only is looking out for you, but also has the expertise and the knowledge of not only contract stuff, but how to actually navigate all of this and how to protect you. Right? Like for whatever reason, over more recent years, people see like agents as like, oh, they're just leeches. They just take money for nothing. Like, no, they're literally there to protect you. Okay. And the NFL could standardize everything. And I'm happy they don't, because it makes it a little bit more dramatic and interesting for us, like fans, to watch. And at the end of the day, that is what it's all about. It's entertainment. But all this stuff could be completely standardized where it's like, yep, everyone gets X amount of dollars for your contract, 80% is always guaranteed, like it could all be standardized. And if you want to do that, then yeah, maybe you don't need agents because it's just very like, no, this is how much a wide receiver gets paid. And this is the portion of guaranteed money. the end, if you reach, kind of like in a way like how the NBA does it to a degree where it's like if you have this many Pro Bowls or all pros, first team, whatever it is, like that then can kind of dictate your rankings or your rating, the amount of money you get paid, or if you're resigning with a team in terms of a new team, like you could make it a little bit more standardized. And if you do that, then sure, maybe an agent isn't as important. But with all that said, like when you have all these negotiations, when you have so many things can go in so many different ways, the years, like the length of time, the amount of money, the guaranteed money, the bonuses, injury clauses, like all this type of stuff, matters so much. And having someone truly in your corner. I one time, had a situation where I was going to be working, and it didn't happen, and so they were like, "No, we don't want you." And my agent stepped in and protected me and was like, "You owe him money. You owe him money. You hired him. You made him go to you. He spent the whole day there. You will absolutely positively pay his rate." And like, I didn't even know that I was owed that. I was ready just to be like bummed about the whole situation and just take it as it is. But they were like, "No." And I called them and said, "Hey, this is what happened." And I was just calling them just to let them know. And they were like, "Absolutely not. This is a disgrace. Number." And they stepped in and they got me a check. Like, like they're there for your protection. And so someone like Jerry, who's obviously been an owner and has been in the industry for decades, I mean, like, think about it. Really just actually put it into context. Truly a mega, mega, mega wealthy and powerful man, Jerry Jones. I don't even think we can really understand just how wealthy and powerful someone like Jerry Jones actually is. It's just, I think it's probably pretty impossible for anyone to really understand outside of someone who's has billions. Not even millions. Billions. He has all this power. The dude's like, what, in his 70s, 80s, whatever. Obviously a full-grown adult. Obviously losing his mind a bit. But now he's dealing with someone who's young in their 20s, whose level of maturity is not going to be of that of someone who's in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And he's like, "Hey, we don't need the agent. Let's let just me and you, bud. Let's talk." Like, it's really disgusting, actually. Like, it's awful. And it shouldn't be allowed. Like, it should 100%, like, this is where the NFL should just be like, you're not like, unless there could be some sort of clause where it's just like, kind of like where you have the right to an attorney. And if you don't want it, like, that's up to you. Like, it should almost then be like, there has to be a formal thing where it's just like, the player can say, "I won't do it," but even then, I don't even know if that should be the case, because I still think then owners could be like, "Hey, if you forgo having an agent here, let's it'll go a little bit easy for us all." Like, you could still try to like influence that decision. So I feel like it should just be absolutely standardized and say, no negotiations can take place without an agent, without someone who's like a legitimate professional. Because I just think it's disgusting. And I think Micah has actually and I've called out Micah for being immature and for saying things when he shouldn't, and the podcast and any of these other interviews and stuff like that. And I was very loud about that and like, be a leader. But when you see how all of this has unfolded, he's been an absolute, like, I got nothing but praise for Micah. Nothing but praise. I think how he's handled this, he's been absolutely positively mature. He did what I always preach that players should do. Show up to camp. Still show up. Prove that you want to be there. Prove that this is important to. He wanted a contract before, and he didn't get it. And yet he still played. He got banged up. Like, he's still going for it. And this is what I said earlier when this was all starting to unfold a little bit more deeply, when Jerry Jones was saying all the weird stuff that he was saying. I was saying, like, it's a disgrace what Jerry Jones is saying. I was like, it's so insulting. And I was like, and you're going to like, even if you end up getting a deal done, these relationships are going to be ruined. And that does matter. These guys are not robots. They're not machines. These are human beings. This stuff matters. And now Micah is straight up saying, "I do not want to be a Cowboy anymore," which is exactly what I said. Could happen. I love when a take like mine ages perfectly because that is exactly what I said. He is literally saying, like, it's not like where he's like, get me out of here. I'm not getting what I want. He's like, I do not want to play for you. I have no desire to play for you ever again. And maybe amends can be made in terms of like Jerry Jones is going to cave and pay him all that money. That's all well and good, but the relationship will never be the same. It will never be the same. And again, this stuff matters when you're building a culture and a winning team. It's not just like, well, you only get paid to show up and get tackles or, sacks or to catch touchdowns, whatever it is. Like, that's not how this works, man. We're all human beings. It's not how this works. And so you got to build a culture of people who want to be there, who feel wanted and connected to the franchise and the organization. And again, teams always preach family, 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 family. And it's always fascinating to talk to ex-players because they're like, sometimes it absolutely feels like a family and it's real and it's authentic and it's genuine. And sometimes it's like family, family, family. And it's like, yeah, right, whatever. Because every team always preaches family. Every team always preaches that. No team's like, oh, this isn't a family, this is just a job. Clock in and clock out and I'll see you guys next week. Like every team you've ever played for is always like, we're a family, come on, do it for the guy next to you. And it's like, sometimes it's real, sometimes you genuinely feel it, and other times it's just like, yeah. And you can only trick players for so long. I always talk about that. You can only trick players for so long. In the beginning of their careers, for even like the first 5 years, maybe even 10 years, they can really be, I always refer to it as brainwashing, but it's like kind of this like delusion that they kind of get wrapped up into because they've been sold a message like ever since they were practically like 10, 11, 12 years old. And it's not until they get a little bit older, more mature, get some people in their lives that aren't just like, yeah, you're the best, yes, 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 yes. And you get someone who's a little bit more real, you kind of start to see the reality of the experience here. Sometimes people even end up retiring and you can see them in the media and they still kind of like have a little bit of that brainwashing going and you're like, you've never been able to escape that. You haven't ever really seen the reality of like what this all is. And some people see it from the jump. Some people understand right away, nope, I don't care what anyone says. This is obviously not a family. This is strictly just a job. These people only want me for one thing and one thing only. And the moment I can't do it, I'm done. It's like, they don't need me, and it's always this push and pull. And Jerry Jones doing what he's been doing, I really find inherently disgusting. I find IF and that's you need strong language here. It's not, it's a little underhanded or it's a negotiating tactic. Like even when Nick Wright came out a little bit harder on it all, it was still just like, this is just the drama. And now this is what we're going to talk about. And we all know how it's going to end with Jerry giving Micah, a ton of money. And it's like, I don't care what the outcome ends up being. It's disgusting. It's just absolutely disgusting and it needs to be called out. For it can't just be like, I don't know what Jerry Jones is doing. He's getting so old. This is ridiculous. Like, no. Say it what it is. It's disgusting. Every sense of it. The things that he was saying about Micah, the way how he's trying to negotiate with Micah, it's all disgusting and it is fundamentally wrong. There's no other way to look at it. It's not just entertainment, it's not just drama, it's just disgusting. That is the word of the day, man. Disgusting. 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 And it should be said incredibly loud and confidently. What Jerry Jones is doing and how he's handling all of this is disgusting. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys and this whole soap opera? I don't even want to call it a soap opera, but whatever the heck we want to define this as. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, let's get in some discussions, but ultimately let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Thank you so much. See you next time.